Hey, welcome back to the channel. I'm Blake Green. I'm a cloud architect and AWS community builder. Um, Today is part 3 of building a full stack application on AWS. We're following this this course or workshop, whatever you want to call it, at fsgql.com. And essentially, we're creating a full stack application that books vacations to the moon. In the previous parts, we've sort of gone through setting up our backend resources using the serverless framework. And I think today we'll end up finishing off the backend work and then maybe get started on the front end stuff. But yeah, if you are interested in seeing other, streams of, me kind of working through these workshops and stuff, you can go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. We go through a lot of different, technologies, including cloud automation and, developer tools, stuff like that. And then also, if you don't mind following me on Twitter, I post a lot about, technologies that I'm working on and things that I find interesting that, I like to share with the community as well. So yeah, with that being said, let's go ahead and dive back into the workshop here. And the next step is setting up Stripe. And so if you aren't familiar with Stripe, I just wanted to kind of run through that really quick. It's just like online payments application. So, or software, it says Stripe, use Stripe software and APIs to accept payments, send payments, and manage their businesses online. So basically, this is how we're going to be able to pay for our trips to the moon, and or at least exchange that the cash for the ticket to the moon. And yeah, so I think if let me click out of these guys here. So once you could, I think you can hit dashboard. Well, anyways, like I've already set up an account with Stripe. And so let me bump up the font there. Basically, there'll be like once you hit their website or hit that dashboard button, there'll be a login page where you'll have to create an account. It's really quick and simple, and it takes just a couple minutes maybe. But go ahead and sign up for that, and then it looks like we just need to grab some API keys so that we can log into or use Stripe once we book our trip to the moon. So the workshop has some screenshots here of how to access that. So it looks like in the developer section, there's API keys. And then we're going to copy the secret key into our environment variables of the project. So with this being a live stream, I think I'm going to take this to the other screen here temporarily, and then I'll throw in my Stripe secret key, and then we can continue from there. So give me 1 second here. We'll let me move this one over here real quick, and then I'll generate this API key. And then if you don't remember, we've been kind of battling with this with the serverless YAML file, because we started from a like a starter boilerplate type of project, and then we've sort of been modifying it from there. And it hasn't been completely clear in the workshop, like if we're supposed to take out the previously like added values or whatnot. So yeah, let me just bring this over to this other screen so I can insert the secret key, and so that you all can't use my new Stripe account to charge payments, or I don't know. It just probably one of those things that you want to keep as a secret, right? So let me go ahead and create a .env file. And then, like it says here, right, we just need to add this key value with the secret key from our Stripe, the Stripe API key. Oh. Okay. All right. I think that's good. So all right. So now that we've added the Stripe secret key, now we just need to add that as an environment variable for our Lambda function, right? And like I said, we've already had this too, right? Which is also kind of maybe it's just another gripe of this particular workshop, is that in previous chapters of the workshop, we've added these environment variables for bookings DB and listings DB, and yet it's not included here. So that would be confusing to me, is like, do we only include the Stripe secret key, or but so we'll just go ahead and copy and paste that Stripe secret key into our environment variables and add it to the environment variables. And this should be good enough for us to complete the function now. So we are in chapter 6, and now we're going to export the mutation function. So in this chapter, we just set up our mutation by exporting it in the mutation.js file. Add the following function. So let me save that real quick. So so again, like resources? No. Okay, in the mutation.js file here, right? Let's see. Let me exit out of that. Okay, so it looks like it's just like commented out here. Whoops. So let me go ahead and we'll just do that and do that. We'll get rid of this. So we want to export our make a booking. And for now, we're going to return null. Then we're going to head over to the index of the resolvers and import it. Oops. So in the index.js, let's bring it over. Oh, that's in our query. Okay. Oh, there's a typo here because we're saying get a listing, which let's see here. So is it get a listing or get a listings? Let's look at the query.js. Let's get a listing. So looks like another typo. Whoops. Alrighty. So yeah, let's now let's bring in the make a booking from our mutation. Import make a booking from. Oops. What the heck was that? Oh, did I? Oh. That's weird. Whenever I try to, I think it might be my. I have like this window shifting software called Spectacle, and I think what happens is preferences. Whenever I hit the quotation marks, it like moves the window up to the top right. So let me see if I could change this real quick. Sorry. All right, let's try that. Okay, so from, okay, that's better. I don't know what that is. Mutation. Oops. All right, so we import the make a booking from mutation, and now we add that to our resolvers, right? Because we already have query, and now we need to add, we'll put a comma there, mutation, and then we say make a booking, and similar to our query, we need root, args, and context. Make a weird. Okay, there it goes. I was wondering where the autocomplete went. So, okay, so we just need args and context. I can't spell. Alrighty, so that looks good. Now in our index.js, it should look like that, where we have our query and mutation. See, this is more or less like what I was looking for. It was, it's like, okay, at the end of, you adding this additional information to your application, like, here's what it should look like. So, this looks better to me. So next up, we'll set up a Stripe account. I think we already did that, but Yeah. Okay. So that was wrong. Creating the mutation in the schema. In this chapter, we will be building our mutation, which will allow users to be able to book for listings. First, let's create the necessary types for our mutation. Open up your schema.js and paste the following. So schema.js. So in our schema, we already have listing type, listing activities, guide, listing, and query. So so our first type is a booking type with the data we need to capture the booking of the specific listing. If you note, there is a customers field. Okay, so in the customers field is meant to return an array of customers, which we have defined as its own type. Lastly, we have an input called input customer. An input in GraphQL is a type that is used for mutations to pass in large objects. This will make it easier to call our mutation. Okay. I think I'm going to. I usually hate like copying and pasting because I really do feel like it's better for me to type it out. I seem to learn better that way. But for this, I think I've already kind of typed all this out before, so I have a good idea of what's going on, and I feel comfortable just copying and pasting this. It's not like super interesting, anyways. But let's see. So I'm gonna paste it underneath our query, and hopefully this is right. So let me. It looks like it didn't format completely. See if we can move it over. There we go. Well, that doesn't look right either, though, huh? Let's see. See if we can tab that over. That looks a little bit better, I think. Tab that over. Cool. I think that's good. All right. Next up, let's create a mutation type in our schema. Okay, so let's see what this says. So we're saying that our make a booking mutation should take in the listing ID, which is okay, the size, booking date, and customer email arguments. Then customers is also an argument, but we're assigning it as an array of the input customer. This means we can add multiple entries of the customer to our mutation. The beauty of GraphQL is that it comes with nifty features that REST does not. Best of all, any other developers will be able to know how to call this mutation easily by looking at it in the schema pane in the playground. Cool. So let's add that below to our schema. And now, so we have the type mutation, make a booking with the listing ID, size, booking date, customer email. Customers is the input customers here. Right. And then where does booking come from? Oh, type booking is right there. Okay, cool. I like it. Okay, so that was creating the mutation in the schema. So now we are at complete mutation. And so first of all, let's install some packages. Cool. So we'll run a yarn add UUID and Stripe. UUID is used to generate random, like unique identifiers for the booking ID. Since DynamoDB is a NoSQL data store, it does not auto-generate IDs like a SQL data store. And then Stripe will allow us to interact with the Stripe API. Next, let's go into our make a booking mutation and add the following. Okay, yeah, so we only added the return null here, right? So now we'll update this guy. So while our modules are downloading there, we'll say import v1 as UUID v1. UUID. And that's our DynamoDB lib, right? We're just bringing that guy in. Yeah. Okay, so now we can replace our return null here, right? And then we want to say get the listing that the user selected from the client. Okay. So we'll create a const get prices, and then we'll say that's async and then we need to get the parameters equals, and then table name says .env listing db, or we say dev dash, what was it called? Was it called dev dash listings db or listings dash db? Oh, dev dash listings. It doesn't seem right, but go with it for now. And then what was this here? the table key, okay, the key condition expression. So key condition expression. Listing ID equals listing ID. And then expression attribute values. Args.listing ID. All right. Okay, and then we have a try catch block here. So say try const listings equals await dynamo dblib.call. Okay, to make sure that we can query the data. With, and then we're passing in the params. Okay, cool. And then, yeah, finally we return listings. And then if not, we catch the error. How to catch them all. Return E. Nice. Okay, so first off, we are adding our necessary libs to the file. Then we're creating a function called get prices that will go into the listings table and get the listings that match the listing ID for the listing the customer wants to make a booking for. Next up, let's calculate the price of the booking. Sorry, I was reading ahead a little bit, but okay, because I think we obviously that's our get prices function, right? And let me get rid of this here. So okay, so yeah, now we're basically gonna within this make a booking function, we created a get prices function. Now we're gonna call that equals await, and then we call the get prices function. Okay. And then calculate the amount to be charged to the customer's card. So we create another const booking charge equals parse int. So what was that? Okay, items, and then price is the, okay, so items, and then we want the zero index price. And then times args dot size Okay. And then we need to get the name of the listing. Const listing name equals listing object dots listing name. Const stripe equals stripe package. Okay, and then this is how we get the API key. It's going to look into our environment variables and get the Stripe secret key that we added at the beginning of the stream. Stripe secret. Okay. And then we're going to charge the user's card. But, obviously this is going to be, the most affordable trip to the moon that, anyone has ever had before. So hopefully that's, I'm going to bump up the size on the code here. So finally, we just say const stripe result equals wait stripe dots charges dot create. Okay, and then we pass in, say, source. And we need the amount, which would be the booking charge. Description is charge for booking a listing, and then we want to pass in the, what is this? The args listing ID. Args dot listing ID. And then currency is dollar bills, y'all. Okay, so kind of like a recap there is first we call the function to get the price of the listing. Then we get the total by getting the price of the listing and then multiplying it by the amount of travelers on the trip. So we can have, take the whole fam to the moon if you wanted, right? And then next we create an instance of the Stripe library. Then we create a charge to the customer's card. Next up, we'll create the params to send so we can store it in Dynamo. Create the booking table. Oh, okay. Okay, interesting. So, so we'll just keep going. I'm kind of a little confused. Hopefully it works itself out. And It'll make sense in a little bit. So we just say, let me scroll down here a little bit so that we get so const params equals, and then we say table name is process dot env. Okay, bookings db, which is another one of our environment variables, right? So we have our listings db, and then we have our bookings db, and so now we're basically saying, like, if someone books a trip to the moon, we need to put that data inside of our bookings DynamoDB table. And now we say booking ID equals UUID v1 for our like unique identifier on the booking ID. And then listing ID is args.listing ID booking date. Args. Oops. Date. So now we're basically just, calling all of these objects that we created up here, right? And just adding them to the params that we'll put into the database. Customer email. Oops, customer email. And then customers. Created timestamp, so we use the date dot now. Then charge receipt. We can use the Stripe result. This is kind of cool. I've never seen this before. So receipt. We're not getting like our autocomplete here, but I'm assuming that's just like data that we get back from using the Stripe API. And, if we went through like the Stripe documentation, I'm sure we get, more information on these particular methods that we're using. All right. So I think that about does it for our parameters that we'll be putting into our bookings database. As before, we are simply creating a params object that has a necessary table name in the fields that match the booking type in the schema. Okay. So just out of curiosity, like if we look back at the schema, okay, yeah. So, but we didn't see like payment details, which isn't in our booking type, but or the created timestamp. Anyways, I might just be overthinking it again. But anyways, so we have added a created timestamp and payment details fields for internal use that will not be exposed to the API. Oh, okay, there you go. So if I would have just kept reading, it would have explained that to me. But anyways, let's go back in here. Get rid of that. Next, let's send the params to the DynamoDB table. So I'm assuming that would be, okay, here. So we're going to try. And we're going to await the DynamoDB lib dot call and put all of the params. And then we're going to return booking ID, which is params item booking ID listing ID. I'm just going to list these out. So booking date. Right. And then size. Oh, man. You know what? This might be a copy and paste thing because I cannot type today. Oh, let's just try to see if we can do this here. Size is size. Oh, shoot. Booking total is total. Customer email. I'm struggling today on the keyboard. Must be Monday. Okay, so customers here, we're gonna iterate through. So this would be customers, and then we're gonna map C equals and then name is C dot name. Surname. I wonder why surname is, or yeah, surname is capitalized, but C dot surname. Country. Passport number. C dot passport number. physio score. C dot physio. Okay. And then now we want to also include charge receipt. Cool. Otherwise, we'll catch the error. Turn. Cool. So we are simply doing a put action to the DynamoDB table to insert the mutation. We're returning the booking object back to the API. In the customer section, we're simply mapping over customer supplied. Next, let's test the function with the following mutation. So let's give it a try. I mean, the SLS offline hasn't worked for me yet. So maybe now that I kind of have a grasp of, what we're trying to do here, maybe let's try to see if we can clean this guy up a little bit. So we don't have these environment variables. What I'm thinking is like, since we were using this boilerplate starter project, maybe I can get rid of some of this stuff now that doesn't seem like we need it. Like, for example, well, let's see. Yeah, like these environment variables, we're not actually using them, I don't think. So let's get rid of that. I'm assuming that this, GraphQL that should all be correct, I believe. Yeah, let's try that. Maybe in our resources, like, we're not using Cognito as far as I know. So let's just comment this stuff out, and Cognito user pools. We're not using SQS, right? Let's see here. Table. See this? I think this was pre-populated as well. So if we get rid of that, we are using the Dynamo or the booking-db YAML file. So why is it complaining about found an embedded parameter? Interesting. So, well, that's in our serverless YAML file. So let's look at that guy again real quick. Hmm. All right. I think that's good enough. So let's go ahead and try to let's see what happens if we run the SOS offline again. I don't know if this is gonna work. Like it still just doesn't like something in our config here. Doesn't seem like as many. Oh, maybe it's helping us out here with. Um, well, no. If we actually read the error messages, maybe it would provide some useful information. Well, it started again, so let's give it a shot. So this would be localhost 4000 and then / GraphQL, which it does not like. Maybe I just didn't save one of our files or something? No, they're all saved. So it says error while loading GraphQL. Args is not defined at module source resolvers query.js. Oops. So let's take a look again here. So if we look in query.js, we are oh, dang, no, this is our mutation. Okay, so we have our query mutation. So it says something's wrong with our args is not defined in query.js. What does that mean? Um, So, like, is it because we're not using the arguments inside of our like inside of these like get a listing function? Like, if I were to remove this, which I thought we were, but perhaps I'm wrong. But see what happens if we do that. No. Oh, I think I stopped the. No. Doing it live, right? I mean, live troubleshooting is always a good time. Args is not defined, but hmm. I think so. Let me see if I can take a sneak peek at this. Let's see here. Is this the code for it, or is this just the README? Yeah, I think that's just the docs. Okay, so here's the Lunar Tour API repo. Let's see if we can reference the source code for the workshop and see if we're missing anything. So we'll start with the schema, which I think everything is correct. It's kind of interesting. Put them side by side. So our GraphQL .js, I mean, looks pretty similar, right? Yeah, it looks good to me. And then, okay, so let's take a look at our resolvers and specifically query.js, right? Because that's the one we're having some issues with, seems like. All right, so yeah, I mean he left in his like boilerplate hello function there. We took that out. But yeah, so we're still importing the DynamoDB lib. We have our get all listings function here. So there, he is passing in the args. And this looks different than it looks different than what we have in ours. So that's probably the issue. Let's see here. So we have our two functions, right? Get all listings. Okay, get all listings and get a listing. So we look at get all listings. It is an async function that passes in args and context. And then he has okay, maybe that's what's missing then, or we need the table name. And then we do a try catch to scan the database. See, this is completely different than what his code is saying. Because I guess we're using the DynamoDB lib that we created. Oh, okay, which includes the name. Very confusing. Okay, so let's see here. What about the get a listing? Yeah, and then we're using the DynamoDB scan here. Oh man, this is very, very confusing. What about? I guess the index is our like entry point here. So let's make sure that root. That looks right to me. I don't think. And we just did our mutation. That looks right. Looks, similar. But it's just this query. It's this query.js is like very different than what we have or what we did in the workshop, as opposed to what is in the source code for the workshop, right? So but the interesting thing is, like, you're still passing in the args. Args is not defined at module resolvers dash query JS. Gotta love it. Good old live, doing it live. Yeah, it's okay. So let's see here. I'm just gonna make it look like like the code on the right, and let's see if that works. So I'm gonna get rid of that. And inside of get all listings, we're going to say pass in the params there. And then we do our try catch, right? But instead of using our DynamoDB lib, we're going to say wait DynamoDB scan params, right? And then we say if items are length 0, you don't have any listings, okay? Or else we map all that. Cool. So I'm good with that now, I think. And then if we come back down to our get a listing function, we'll pass in these params here. So we'll copy and paste that. Okay. No need to console log that out. Then we say try to scan the DynamoDB table, right? And then we'll do the same thing. I mean, that seems like it's correct to me now. Let's take a look at, resources. Yeah, so inside of resources, he only has the booking DB. He only has the booking DB and the listing DB, right? So let's take a look at these guys. So in the booking DB, okay, that looks good. All right, I'm good with that. And then inside of listing, should be the same, but yeah, okay. We don't need the, oops. We don't need an S3 bucket, so that could be commented out. Alrighty, so we go back here. Finally, let's take a look at the serverless YAML file. Right, because this is kind of our source of truth here that should really match up. All right, so we got our service, we got our plugins that are the same. Custom, we're including the stage region, listings DB, table throughput. Yep. Okay. Serverless offline on port 4000. Okay. And then the provider, AWS, Node.js 12, stages dev. Okay. So we don't need this table DB. That's one thing. Oh, inside the provider. Yeah. Cause these are like our custom, environment variables anyways that we're using, right? So we don't really need these values within our like provider section. Okay. Get rid of that. Okay. And then, I think our IAM role statement looks correct. We have our resources here. All this commented code can go away. And then our functions, we have our GraphQL handlers in the source GraphQL handler, the environment. Okay, we got the debug going. Post, lambda proxy. Yeah, I mean, theoretically, this should work. And so I'm not sure. Oh, look at that. I don't. So yeah, I guess, obviously it was something in the GraphQL, or sorry, in our query functions that did not like it. I thought since we were using the params as like a global, up here, basically when I commented this out. Yeah, I guess these values weren't getting passed into our get all listings and get a listing. That was probably the issue. But anyways, okay, so we are back. And now we just need to run this mutation to see, right, if this actually, I'll go full screen on this guy. That was weird. Okay, so the mutation that we're gonna put in, right? And I think we're just adding all the data that we want to put into our database. So this is just kind of a test here to see if it works. And if we run this mutation, darn. So this serverless offline is just, it is not working for me. I'm gonna open up the AWS console to see if we can even though it's kind of spinning here on our local GraphQL playground, I'm curious to see if it is actually posting anything into our Dynamo DB table, but I doubt it. It's yeah, I can show you actually. So here's the Dynamo DB table. So our bookings table, and it's still empty. So obviously this thing is just choking and it's not able to actually, um, unfortunately, it's not able to like post our mutation. I wonder, you know what? Let's see here. I'm curious to see if let's look at our Lambda. So here's our Lunar Tour API, right? And I'm curious if there's like something within the console that we can, rather than trying to run our GraphQL playground locally, if we can like, do a test um, where we like post this directly to the function and see what happens. I don't know, AppSync. No. So let me see if I can. Let's just try. We'll keep this as a hello world, and then we'll just say test, and then we'll just copy in the mutation, something like that. Oh, doesn't like it. Yeah, I didn't think so. Yeah. So here's our API endpoint. Okay, let's going off the rails here, but I do have a what is it, insomnia. I got this application here called Insomnia. Let's see if I. Oh yeah, I was messing with this with the with some SpaceX data. See if I can bump that up a little bit. So it's kind of right on theme, right, with our project here. But I think I like space stuff, I guess. But so, anyways, we'll create a new request and we'll say post, and then we'll use that as GraphQL maybe. And then let's grab this this API endpoint, copy, and then paste that into our Insomnia client here, right? And then let's try to copy this mutation again and see if we can use this guy. Okay, so so we've created a post GraphQL mutation to our API endpoint and added this sort of like fake data, and then let's see if we can send it. Oh, we got an internal server error. It's probably because it's not like publicly accessible. Yeah, bummer. Okay, so I guess we'll just try to keep going, because then once we deploy it, perhaps there's a way that we can test it, because pretty much done everything correctly. It's just, yeah. Okay, so that was chapter 6. Now we're on to unit testing. But I think, we're kind of rolling up to an hour and a half time limit. We got kind of caught up in the creating the mutation. So I think the next step will be, we'll go through the unit testing, and then, yeah, I really thought we were going to make some more progress on this. I'm sorry that we didn't get through. I was hoping we perhaps get to the end of this chapter 8 where we deploy the backend code. But it looks like we're going to add some unit testing, which is always good. I personally, I want to get better at, this more of like this test driven development, and, adding testing in from the beginning. I'm more used to like just deploy everything and see what happens. So, yeah, that'll be a good deal. And then, yeah, we'll try to finish off the back end. There's still, a lot to learn with the front end stuff here as well. So, this is the end of part 3, but this might end up being, double digit parts. We'll see. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.